Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the second part of our interview with Costanza, who is a third year medical student in Bologna's English program. And I'm going to ask her all about finding accommodation, the cost of the city, the weather, things like that. And I think this is the more important part than the first part where we talked all about the university. So I'm going to start with a very vague question of what type of student do you think Bologna is perfect for? Like, do you think there are students who prefer a more quiet life or a more chaotic life? Or what type of student do you think Bologna is perfect for?
So I would say it's perfect for students that like more a lively life. Um, yeah, because it's like there is a lot of people, it's a lot of international people because Bologna accepts a lot of Erasmus students. So if you like to meet new people, it's a very nice place to live in. And also it's like a very student city. Like there is this saying that people of Bologna don't exist. Like Bologna is lived by people that are not of Bologna. And that is very nice because you get to know people from all over Italy and all over Europe, but also outside of Europe. And yeah, so I think it's a nice city. It's which because it's quite small, so it's not a huge city. You can like cross the city in 15 minutes with a bike. Um, so it's very livable. It's not like Rome or Milan where you have to take the metro and like um, or go with a car. I don't know really, but there's this idea of Rome and Milan being very busy and big cities. Uh, and Bologna is not really like that.
So, speaking of the metro and the bike, how do students usually get around? Like, what are the different types of transport? What is the transport you recommend? Like, could you bike everywhere or can you take, yeah, like tell me all about the transport.
Yeah. Okay, so there is no metro here. There is only buses or the bike or going on foot, which is a very chosen option. So personally, I don't like walking, so I bought a used bike. Um, and I really like, I think the bike is a very good option because the buses are often late. Always is a lot of jams. So with the bike, often is like even faster than with the bus, except if you have to go outside of the city center, which may happen, for example, if you have the internship in a hospital like far away, or if you want to go to the coast to play sport, to the field, and you have to take the bus. The bike is not really recommended. The bike is not really recommended. So yeah, I personally really like the bike because you can go quite everywhere. There is a lot of pebbles, which is not ideal, but it's okay. And you can reach everywhere, and you usually find a spot where to put your bike
So
almost
you
everywhere.
would there's a motorbike. So you would recommend that students get around by bike instead of a public transport ticket, or like if I wanted an
Yeah.
unlimited annual ticket, how much
Mhm.
would it cost, or should I only get a bike? Like, what would you recommend more?
Okay, so there is yeah, a ticket costs quite a lot, but with the university it would cost I think 180 the annual ticket, uh, and also with the university you can ask for a discount on the discount, so it will cost like 100 euros, 100 or something, and which is quite like I would recommend doing that because if you like it happens that you have to go outside or if you want to go out in the night you don't want like to um go with your bike because mm, I don't know if you want to get home a little drunk, I don't know, the bike is not really recommended.
Yeah.
So I think the bus ticket is convenient if you get the
Okay.
discount. Otherwise, it's better to like get the carnet, so it has like 10 tickets and you can use them when you want. It depends on.
Uh, okay, you just disappeared, but and you're back, but you're frozen. Okay. Oh, you're back.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Okay.
speaking of coming home drunk,
Mm,
Well, not
mm.
drunk, but having a few drinks because that's how young
Yeah.
student life is. How would you describe the? I mean, I know Bologna is a very student-oriented city, but like, what are the different
Mhm,
activities for students that isn't like going for aperitivo or to a bar? Is there a lot to
mhm.
do? Is there stuff to do outside of like socializing? Like, how would you describe like day-to-day activities, night activities, activities for students, like everything?
Um, yeah, okay. So, well, aperitivo is quite a common activity, like a daily based daily activity. Then there were, because now they're not open, some clubs, which so in the city center, there was these clubs that were quite small and yeah, not like the best ideal because it, it got like very hot inside with a lot of people, so it was okay, but not the best. And there are also some discos, but they are more outside of the city center and are more expensive. So I actually never got to go there. And otherwise, one funny thing is there are some like squares. So there is Piazza Verdi and Il Pratello, which are the squares with a street next nearby with a lot of bars, and people hang out there, and and it's fun because like if you go to Piazza Verdi, you will see a lot of people sitting on the ground, which is rather unusual. And in fact, there is a story of I think a tourist, I don't know, that went there and saw a lot of people sitting down in Piazza Verdi, and she asked a policeman or someone if that was a manifestation, but it was actually people chilling there. Yeah, because people here sit on the ground like this. Yeah, and otherwise, let me think. Um,
Is there like
yeah, otherwise,
I don't
yeah,
know
there
this.
is the cinema. There is also
Oh, cinema. Okay.
there is the
I was.
sorry.
Does like Bologna have like mountains? Can students go hiking or skiing, or is it
Oh
easy to
yes,
get
yes.
around?
Basically, there are the collies. Because I don't really know the geography of Bologna, but I think so. The city center is like flat, and around are the colleges, or more in the south, which are basically not mountains but like cliffs where people go hiking, and like it's very common to go there because you find like very good places where you can go picnic and or like um stay there for the afternoon with your friends. And you usually like you can hike for an hour to go there, and there are different spots where you can go there. And usually it's like around an hour, and then you come back walking, or you can also take the bus. Um, in the evening, it's quite a common thing to do.
And what's the weather in Bologna like? Like throughout the year?
So, hmm, it's quite humid, so the summer is unbearable. The winter is quite cold. Um, but it's okay. I mean, I have lived colder winters, and it also depends on the year. So there are periods where it's very cold, mm, and like periods where it's more hot, and you can go around easily without like dying of freezing. Um, and that's the winter. The spring, I would say, rainy a little bit and fresh, windy. And but I think it's actually a very cool weather. But that's my personal taste because I like windy cities. It's not like those like that wind that like freezes your bones, but it's like the fresh wind that gives you a little bit a lot of life.
Okay, okay.
And
It's fresh.
but it's very yeah, it's fresh and it's humid, so the humidity is not the best here.
And kind of the final thing that I want to ask you about the city is the cost of living and the cost of accommodation. Like, I know accommodation really depends on what neighborhood you live in and how far from the university you are. But, like, on average, for a private room in a shared house within 30-minute walking distance of the university, how much would students expect to pay?
Okay, so for medicine, the university is the hospital basically. So 30 minutes can be in the center, and it's for a private room, which is not that easy to find because here there is in Bologna there are some housing problems. I would say 400 euros for a small room or for like um those old rooms that are like not best conditions, 400, 450. It depends also how lucky you are because I think in Bologna there was a thing where like a couple of years ago there was like a explosion of new students, so the market of housing changed. So the old contracts, like there is still the possibility to find old contracts which have quite cheap houses. You can also find like a single room at 300 euros, but the new contracts are more expensive, so 400, 450. People also like for a cool room, like a pretty one, also 600. So it depends quite a lot. I would recommend staying in the center because like all the life is in the center, and the hospital is quite nearby. So I think I would say if you are live in the center in 20 minutes distance from the hospital. But otherwise, a lot of people stay next to the hospital, which may be a little less expensive, and it's also like you can go to the center quite easily. So
Okay. And like what is the general cost of living like? Like, the food and the drinks. If can you compare it to like a major city? Like is it much cheaper than in Rome and Milan, or is it like more expensive than in say Bari? Like can you give any sort of indication, because 400 is kind of higher than I was expecting, but it is a northern city, so that does kind of make sense. So,
yeah, yeah. So I have not really lived in other cities, so I cannot make a comparison. But I would say also it depends on how much you eat and how much you go out. But I would say like between 200 and 300. It's perfect. Like for living, like you are very comfortable and you can go out quite a lot and eat a lot of food. So I think between 200 and 300 is I
nice.
would say a good amount. Yeah.
Yeah, like if I were to order pizza to the house, like for a
Mhm.
pizza and a croqueta, like how much would that cost?
And a croqueta, so you mean
Una
like a
croqueta, so
side?
yeah, like patate. I love croqueta.
Okay,
It's my
okay.
favorite.
Um, so I would say if you get the fancy Naples pizza, it
Mm,
would cost like 9 euros the pizza, 3 euros 50 the croqueta,
wow, that's too
and
much.
yeah. But if like there is pizza casa, if you're hungry and you're cheap, like if and you're broke because it's the end of the month, it's 2 euros 50 for a margherita. It's very bad. Like it's not a good pizza, but
Well, 250 is
oh
stonks. That's such a good
yeah,
price. Like 250 is what
yeah.
I would expect to pay in Napoli for a pizza. That's pretty
I
good.
I once
Okay.
ate twice pizza casa in a week, and I had I was bad like the week after because of that. But
So it is that
once a
action.
week is okay.
Once a week your immune system can handle it. After that it's like
Exactly.
okay.
It's a little too much stress.
Okay. So, okay, I think that gives us a pretty good idea of the city. I don't know, is there anything else that you want to add as advice, not specifically for the university, but more for the city? I don't know.
Okay, so based on my personal experience, like if you are quite positive of coming to Bologna, like look for a house straight away because it's um difficult to find housing because there are a lot of double rooms and single rooms are like very requested, but um there is not that much offer. So that's really important because me, for example, I stayed in a hostel and like so this university started in November, I think the 1st of November, and I stayed in a hostel until January before finding a house. And it was terrible. Yeah, it was bad.
Wow, that's very long.
Yeah, yeah, that was bad. Um, so that's really important to know. But now with the pandemic, there are less people in Bologna, so it's easier to find a house. Um, so yeah, that and also try to find people to hang around which are not of medicine, which is also cool because if, if you hang with people that are from medicine, you tend to talk about the university, about the exams, and blah blah blah, and you don't really like get off with your mind. So I think getting to know people that are of other faculties, which is quite easy in Bologna, like hey, you can go to Piazza Radio Capello and like talk to random people, and they're all very nice. Um, yeah, so you get to know people of other faculties, so you get a little bit out of the mindset of medicine, medicine, medicine,
Yeah,
which
I
I
think
think is
that's
good.
pretty good advice, I think. I think a lot of
Mm,
students, like when they're in high school, they really like glorify medicine and they think it's like going to be everything in their life. But once you get in, you really realize that you need to have a life outside of medical school as well.
yeah, yeah, it's very
Um,
important.
okay, I think that pretty much concludes everything. I hope that gave everyone a much better idea of the mysterious Bologna. Um, yeah, so that was everything about the university and the city. And yeah, thank you again for being here. I'm going to
Thank you.
say, say goodbye. Bye.